Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Back by popular demand, it's Stephen and Becca introducing this week's Colbert show. What is it? I forget. What are we promoting?
The Late Show Pod Show.
Late Show Pod Show rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, welcome. Hey, he's in the Late Show Pod Show. Thanks for listening. We're back for some more special Stephen and Becca intros. Stephen, why did we start doing these? We've been doing these for quite a while.
Why
now.
did we start doing them?
Yeah, well,
you asked me if I would do them, I think.
I got a call that was like, Stephen wants to do intros. And I was like, wow, that's awesome.
I think this was a nefarious plot by someone else. And then we both got roped into it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It probably was. It was post Strike Force 5.
Yeah.
And then I really enjoyed the podcast experience, and I wanted to keep it going. And they said, well, you could talk to Becca. I'm like, that sounds fantastic. Let's talk to Becca.
That's awesome.
Also, there's a little bit of a Conan thing. Who's his assistant?
Sona. Yeah,
That's
she's
right.
great. Yeah.
But you're not my assistant.
No. I'm just a little guy who works here. Yeah,
That's right.
I'm the podcast producer, and I'm also like a former writer's assistant. I work closely with the writing of the scripts.
Do you miss the writing assisting at all?
I do. Well, I've also really held on to that. I sort of straddle the two jobs.
Because you're in the rewrite room.
I'm in the
night,
rewrite room.
Which is where you were before.
Yes, and I'm in read downs. I really love being with you guys to see how the creative elements all shake out. So, and it helps with the podcast. Hearing you guys talk, hearing you guys,
You get the vibe.
Exactly. Yeah.
Last night we were listening to. We listen to music before the show starts.
Yeah.
If we have time, I DJ. Mm-hmm. And if I've got an idea, I'll play a song, but I'll have to go like, okay, what do people want to hear? What did we start with last night? All I know is that tonight it's going to be Susanna Hoffs.
Yes, yeah.
From the Bangles.
Ariel, I think, requested, whoa, We're the Kids in America. Yeah.
We're the Kids in America. Whoa. And then we started talking about like Go-Go's and Bangles.
Yeah.
And then that led me to like, we got to listen to Different Drum.
Yes.
Her cover of Michael Nesmith's song covered by Linda Ronstadt famously.
Yeah, which is a song you actually turned me on to. I somehow missed that, and you turned me on to that in a rewrite room a couple years ago.
So really? So I'm repeating myself.
No. We had a Linda Ronstadt. I'm telling you, this is all part of a rich education I've been receiving in the rewrite room music time.
So you did not know from the Stone Ponies and Linda Ronstadt.
And I love it.
They're great. Yeah. And you've got deep cut because of your family.
Yeah.
You've got deep music cut going on. Tell the people why you know so much about music.
My parents both met and fell in love while working together at a radio station in Chicago, and they had worked in radio their entire lives before that as well. So deeply radio family, which
they
is
matched frequencies.
Beautiful.
And amplitudes.
Yeah, Norman Wendy, you're going to love that show.
Was that AM or FM?
FM. WXRT over in Chicago.
XRT?
Yeah.
Well, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a famous radio station.
Yeah, it's great.
XRT, Beatles at Midnight. When I was a young man, probably when you weren't even born, but in 1990, my then girlfriend broke up with me. Yeah, she broke up with me. There's no getting around that one. She broke up with me. I was about to go like, did I break up with her? Nope, she broke up with me. And I, at the time, weighed as much as I do now. We're about 185 right now. Who's counting? I am every day. But I'm about 185. And I was so depressed that I didn't eat.
Oh, no.
And also couldn't afford to eat because I made like $8,500 a year. Like I have a great diet plan. Don't afford food.
Yeah.
And I had a long haul to get to work every day as a waiter. Ate whatever they would like. I could steal off of people's plates. I was living like an animal. And then I'd come home. I didn't have any food to eat, but I had to kill my brain every night in some way. And not being able to afford drugs or alcohol, I would go for a run. And so I would go for like a 3-mile run every night, right before midnight, because in the run, XRT would play Beatles at Midnight. And basically that block of Beatles at Midnight is how long it would take me to run.
Oh,
like they would play like 6 Beatles songs or something like that. And that's how long it would take me to run those 3 miles.
Yeah.
And then I would come home, take a shower, get into bed, get under the covers, smooth out the covers, go to sleep, wake up, and there wasn't a wrinkle on the bed. Like I wouldn't have moved all night long,
Whoa.
which evidently is a sign of depression.
Oh, no.
I found out later
Yeah.
that was a sign that something's not right. And I would
Yeah.
slip out of the bed and smooth it out and fluff up my pillow and go to work and just sadly not talk to anybody. But
Wow.
XRT was crucial.
Yeah, yeah. They do breakfast with the Beatles now on Sunday mornings. But Midnight Beatles is a great concept, man. Yeah,
Oh,
and great.
by the way, the
yeah.
reason why I gave my weight is that at the end of that period of time of doing that every night, I weighed
Yeah.
135 pounds.
Oh, yikes.
I lost
yeah.
50 pounds
Yeah.
in like 4 months.
Yeah.
Everyone in the family thought I had
Oh
tuberculosis.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Don't love people.
No.
That's my evidence. That's my advice.
You heard it here
That's my
first.
advice.
Yeah.
Love is not worth it.
Yeah. all right. Well, we've got a great podcast up for these guys today. We taped this a couple weeks ago. It's with an old friend of the show, an old member of the show.
Wait, Scardino?
Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, we have
Meredith Scardino. Scardino and Sons.
Yeah.
She's just delightful. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tell us about
Oh,
Scardino.
We were always looking for new writers, and on the old show we went out for a couple of people, and I forgot who we hired, and one of them was the other option was this woman named Meredith Scardino, who had she had worked for Dave. She had been a writer. That was her first TV job. Was working for Letterman, and she had been let go like after a month or two. I was like, well, listen, I mean, how good could they be? Because I admire those guys so much. And, man, I don't know what they didn't see in her, because she had worked for me for a month, and I literally grabbed her by the shoulders. She came out of the rear room, and I said, they fired you? She goes, I don't know. I mean, they just didn't like what I had.
Yeah.
But when we were trying to figure out whether to hire her, part of being a writer on the show is that there's a lot of hang time. Like, you have to be with these people for a long period of time. And if you want to treat yourself, see if you can go find a Cash Cab episode with Liz Levin, who was one of my producers, and Meredith Scardino. They were the contestants in Cash Cab. And we watched that Cash Cab, and I loved her enthusiasm for the game. She was so excited to find out that she was on Cash Cab.
Yeah.
That I
lights
went,
up like crazy.
oh, gosh, she's got this fantastic brassy, braying laugh, which I just couldn't love more. And when she and her sisters and her mom get together, it is like the walls of Jericho will come down. They're so loud, and I couldn't love it more. And she's a pitch machine. Like, she never ever loses focus on what the joke is. Where is the scene going? What is the intent of like a character? And certainly my old character. And she went off to right after actually I got this gig. She said, she came in, I'm sorry, Tina's offered me a job over at Kimmy Schmidt. I think that's what it was. Mm-hmm. She was starting Kimmy Schmidt. I don't think it was even started. And I have almost forgiven Tina. I have almost forgiven her, but I can understand, like, who wouldn't want to work for Tina? And also, we weren't doing narrative. That was for lack of a better word, a sitcom, but like a narrative show. Mm-hmm. And I just missed her. I mean, there are great writers out there, but she's just such a wonderful company, too. She just always makes the room better and always trying to sort of serve the joke. And so the heartbreak really was just missing her company. And then she did Girls 5 Eva and called me and said, hey, I'm working on a show. And I said, yeah, sure, whatever. She's like, what? Don't you want to know? I was like, no, I do not care what you have in mind for me. I will do it. Yeah. And that's our continued relationship. And we just write back and forth. And she's a gem on every level. Yeah.
Is she the former writer who gave you the model of an appendix?
Yes. When my appendix burst, I got a present from her, and it was
really
a model of a healthy human appendix.
Wow.
Of what it should have looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
really
have it
nice.
it's on my shelf now.
Yeah. Really beautiful. Yeah.
Yep.
She worked at the Report for 6 years, I think. Around a while. Yeah.
Yeah. So she worked there for 6 years, from 2008 to 2014. She was actually, when I testified before Congress, she and Opus Moreski, who's one of my execs here, they were sitting right behind me the whole time I testified before Congress, and they wrote the script that I did there. And I remember before we went down to testified, they were all excited. Opus and Meredith were super excited. They're like, oh, this is great. These jokes are great. I said, guys, there's not going to be one laugh. They're like, no, this is really great material. And I said, I agree. I can't wait to go do this. But you have to understand, there won't be a titter for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it'll be 5 minutes, and they'll cut off your mic after 5 minutes. And I was right.
Yeah. But oh my
One
God,
of my favorite things about
best-
Scardino is that we were doing the show at the Olympics in 2010. We're in Vancouver. Do you know this story?
No.
So I have a security detail, and these are serious guys. You know, they got all the government training. From various branches of the military, and I'm in Vancouver doing the show for the Winter Olympics up there, and we're going from national house to national house. There's like Ireland House, and there's Switzerland House, and there's America, the United States House. And it's places for athletes to stop by and for people to come and sort of celebrate that country. And most of them are pretty low key. It's like, these are our national products. These are things you would like to know about our country. And like, there's a gift shop or something like that. But the Ireland House was a barn of like a beer hall, and just huge, and sponsored by Guinness, of course. And there was a stage at one end, a pretty big stage with like traditional Irish music playing, and a soccer game, or for all I know, a hurling match, up on the screen all the time. And it's packed shoulder to shoulder. The floor is just beer gravy, and it's fun. It's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
So I got Meredith's with me because we're coming up with bits to do. We're generating bits as we go to each place. How can we sort of make fun of this country? And it's me and Meredith, a guy named Rob Dubbin, and Scardino, and one producer, Nicole Savini. And so anyway, Scardino's with me in Ireland House, along with security. And I jump up on stage, and people go, hey! They recognize me, Stephen Colbert. I said, I'm Stephen Colbert. And like, who wants to celebrate Irish culture? And they all go, ah. And I open a book and I go, Ulysses by James Joyce, Chapter 1. Stately, plump Buck Mulligan stood at the head of the stairs, and I start reading the first chapter. And I don't stop, man. And they start booing. And then they start screaming. And they start throwing. And then somebody jumps up on stage. I vaguely see some motion out of the corner of my eye. And the next thing I know, I see motion way out in the crowd. And then I see fists being hurled. It's like a caricature.
Oh my God.
It's a Donnybrook of an Irish brawl. And I look down, and my producer, Nicole Savini, I only work with Italians, Nicole Savini says, we're going, like points at me, points at the door, goes, now, like that. Yeah. So I jump off the stage. My security creates a wedge for me, and I get through the crowd. I get out. I get in the car, and I go, what happened in there? What happened? And Savini goes, well, what happened is that they got mad at you, and then somebody got up on stage, a big guy got up on stage, he was really drunk, and he started running towards you on stage from your right. And we don't, maybe he was a fan, or maybe he was going to tackle you. We didn't know. And one of my security detail, and I won't say who his name is, but one of my security detail, and I didn't see it happen, but Rob Dubbin, the other writer, said he picked him up and held him sideways and threw him back into the audience like a spear. I said, like, he threw him like you would throw like a sack of potatoes out a window. He just picked him up and threw him. I said, that thing way out in the audience, that's where the guy landed? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, and then everybody out there didn't know what that guy was doing. They didn't see him being thrown into the audience. They just got hit by him. So that's where the fight broke out.
Oh, God.
And then that's how we had to get out of there, because it was about to go up in chaos. And I got in the car. We're all breathing, and our hearts are beating really fast. And the security guard says, I feel like I need to apologize. And we all said, what? Why? And he turned to Scardino. And he said, you saw me change. Because these are very soft-spoken guys. He goes,
yeah.
You saw me change. And I know that you didn't like that. And she goes, I loved it. Scardino goes, no, I loved it. I want to go someplace to make it happen again. And he's like, well, that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
so that's
yeah.
Scardino.
Yeah.
She's up for a good time.
Yeah.
If it
yeah.
involves, jokes or somebody being thrown like a sack of potatoes across an Irish bar and then turning into a roustabout.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's more than you wanted to know, but that's one of my faves.
Never a dull moment.
No.
Never a dull moment with the best people here. All
Yep.
right.